Good evening, YouTube. My name is Yusuf, and you are watching my news channel. Today I am covering a little bit of space weather from my hotel room, and this is kind of unusual. I have to holding the mic in my hand, and as you can see, forgot to bring my trackpad. If you ever go somewhere with your laptop, don't forget your trackpad. It's the most important. No, actually the mouse pad, yes. Trackpad is over here. Silly me. The mouse pad. Yes, I believe that's how it's called. You know, that thing, flat thing when you put your mouse on. So, let's dig into it. There is an active region which is really sending flares one after the other. And as you can see, we already have 3 Mflares, which is kind of impressive. They're not big in magnitude, but still, it's nice to see we finally have some Mflares. I do expect this sunspot to generate further C flares, and who knows, maybe other Mflares as well. There has been a radio blackout consequently, but flaring activity doesn't cause geo-effectiveness. We are seeing this again, and it's actually the CMEs that come from these flares that can cause a geomagnetic storm afterwards. Looking at the solar wind, and I'm checking the ACE data first because there was again a major spike, and I'm thinking this might not be related to the solar wind at all. So this is probably not coming from the sun. This is probably either a weakness in the magnetosphere allowing this to happen, or maybe short bursts of gamma ray bursts coming from a star that went supernova in the past, which is not too far away from our planet, and these might be actually precursor signs of a major event from a star that went nova. Let's hope this is not the case, but who knows. And if it is the case, then ladies and gentlemen, someday we will have an extinction level event, because when that happens, it will envelop our solar system with particles. Then the sun will send CMEs, which will envelop the Earth completely and short-circuit our magnetosphere, causing a catastrophic pole shift. But again, let's hope this is not the case and that I'm just simply wrong. So, looking at the solar wind from that other satellite, the Discover satellite, we see actually normal conditions everywhere, whether it is the BZ component, the density, the speed, the temperature. Everything is flat and unusually stable, let's be honest. There was, however, something on the ground level. So these are ground induced currents, and there was a blip, as you can see over here. It actually already happened. Let me just go back and show it to you. There it is. It's absolutely big in magnitude and scale, because it covers almost half of the United States, and I'm guessing other parts of the world have experienced this as well, because keep in mind this is only the map of the United States. But clearly something happened, and it went straight from almost nothing to a level of thousands. So luckily it was not sustained for long. If I look at the timestamp, this is 16.747 UTC, 74 minutes. This is a few minutes later. So this only lasted a few minutes. But if it were ever to last hours like this would overload the grid and cause transformators and power facilities to burn, to catch fire, or to explode, and this will of course create blackouts. And when you see the scale, I mean almost half of the United States, many states were in this red zone, this would really be a bad situation, because then we would have a cascade effect. meaning that one shutdown would cause another plant to shut down, etc., 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 because then there is not enough power. They have to route it from one state to another, etc., because the grid is actually all interconnected to each other. So if a few major blackouts happen, it would have a chain reaction. And this would be apocalyptic, of course, in a world which is so dependent on electricity for everything. When we look at the simulations, when that blip happens, this sudden overload, we see that the data is suddenly missing for 1 complete hour. However, clearly, something happened to the bow shock. It completely discharged it. You see, the bow shock is like gone, the pressure on the bow shock. So my guess, it's also visible over here. If I go a few frames, this is, I have to put it on 16 UTC. There it is. Okay. Let's go a few frames. There it is, there it is, there it is. So this is a normal condition of the magnetosphere. Then all of a sudden, something happened after that hour, and we clearly see the change. I mean, you can see over here, there is like almost a vertical line. And if I look at the magnetosphere simulations at the field lines, we can clearly see that prior to this event, the inner electron belt and the closed field lines were present, separated from the bow shock. And then in the next frame, look at that. All the energy of the bow shock is clearly has been siphoned to the inner electron belts, and this is a bad thing because it weakens these closed field lines. Looking at the CME tracker, there is activity to be seen. One CME actually over here. But there's still some data missing. This will be updated tomorrow. That's typically the next day that we actually see data, because it stops at around 15 UTC. So there's not much point talking about this. So looking at the Schumann resonance, we see a signature. This is normal because of those Mflares, and I do expect a little bit of activity, not much in the coming hours. Same thing could be said about earthquakes. No major activity. After all, when looking back at the KP index, we don't have any geoaffective conditions, so earthquakes remain, seismicity remain very low globally. There is, however, a small uptick in the Yellowstone, and I thought this might be interesting to point this out because this is the most important volcano in the world, and also the most dangerous one. So this is it, people, the end of the video. I hope that you liked it. If you do, you can subscribe to my channel and hit the like button, of course. And before we leave each other, I will cite a philosophical quote. I believe we were at number 44. Yes. The gem cannot be polished without friction, no man perfected without trials. So, a person who has never experienced anything in his life cannot be a wise man, so to speak. We go through life and we experience trials, and this is what makes us what we are, basically. The more trials you experience, of course, the more perfected you become afterwards, because if you live to tell the tale, of course, you have the experience that goes with it, and the wisdom and knowledge. Okay, this is it, people. I hope you liked my video. Thanks for watching, of course, and I guess we see each other next time. Bye bye, everyone.